Coming up on Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte. Somebody put a lot of work into this hot rod.
Changed all the gaskets last summer. Plan on rebuilding the carbs this winter.
It wasn't the top of the line GM product back in '59. However,
well, even Cadillac had only 2 fins. This car has 4, so.
And what a great looking mint green Ford.
It's chartreuse, damn it, chartreuse.
Plus,
gives it the appearance of a fresh cast aluminum piece.
a little paint can go a long way in under the hood. Shall we get this show going?
Well, okay.
Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte, starts right now. Hey everybody, welcome to Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte. I'm Jeff Phelps. We're here at RK Motors Restoration in Mentor, Ohio. Just finished shooting some under the hood segments, and now we're heading out to a car show. We're going to Christ the King Church in North Olmsted, Ohio. It's a little car show, and I always love those because it's always interesting to see what you find at a little neighborhood gathering. John, we drove in, your 52 Buick caught our eye immediately, and I'll bet it catches the eye of almost everybody, every place you take it, because it's a nice car.
Yeah, most any place I take it, I got people looking, taking pictures of it. Most of the people haven't seen anything as old as a 52, especially the young kids. And it's quite an eyesight for them.
And it's new to you.
Yeah, I just got it about a month ago. I picked it up in Wooster, Ohio. The son lives in Minnesota. He bought it for his dad, and he sort of cleaned it up, fixed it up. But his dad can't drive it because it does not have power steering or power brakes.
This one's in terrific shape. What have you done to it in just a month, and what might you plan to do to it?
I don't plan on doing anything. It's basically 98% original, except it was painted one time. I'm going to leave it just like it is because it's got more value as it is supposed to be than if you put these hot rod engines in it. I'm not going to paint it or anything. It's clean. This is how I got it. Beautiful chrome, beautiful interior, and that's how I'm going to leave it. I drive it as much as I can. Only bad thing is I don't have the radial tires on it. We got the original type tires on it.
You have the bias plies on it?
Yeah. And they ride a little rough, but that's you want to keep it the way it was originally, built.
John, when we walked up to the car, I looked at the hood and I thought, I've not seen that before.
Yeah.
That's interesting, opening on the side, but not just one side, it opens both sides?
Yeah, when you look at the hood, it opens one way to the left if you want it to open to the left, or you put that side down, you can open it to the right. If you want the hood completely taken off, you pull 2 levers, then you got to have 2 guys, you pick up the hood, and you can take it completely off. Wow. I know when I first got the car, I was kind of dumb. I was trying to open from the front, and I came to this car show, and fortunately the fellows up here were laughing at me, but they showed me how to do it the right way.
I would have done the exact same thing, John.
It's one of the best Buicks that they made at that time. It was second to the Roadmaster. It's a straight 8 engine, 8-cylinder. Probably weighs about 6,000 pounds. You can see all the chrome on it.
Yeah.
But it's clean, it's beautiful, and it's a Buick.
John, it's a 1940 Dodge, and it looks intimidating.
Well, it's really a very nice car. When you get in behind the wheel, it's like suddenly it's 1940. It's like sitting in your front room. The chairs are so comfortable. It's got coil springs in the seats. It's just super comfortable.
How long have you had this car, John?
6 years.
And you found it where?
In Elyria, in the southern part of Elyria. I sat in a guy's front yard for a whole summer, and nobody wanted it. And if you'd have saw it, you would have seen why. It was a basket case.
What was wrong with it?
You name it, and it was. The interior was totally rotten. You could push your finger right through the material. The fenders were just hanging on by bolts. The brakes were dried out. The gasoline, the fuel line system, everything was dried out. So I had to just tear everything down and start working it over. I got it running. Oh, you can go down to 15 miles an hour in 3rd gear in this and step on it, and it just takes off like an automatic. Wow. Yeah, but it's manual.
You mentioned your wife helping you with the car.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of ladies might not like a project brought home in November and dropped in the garage, John. What did your wife think?
I'll tell you, she was a real good sport, because when I took the front seat out and flipped it out, it was a mouse condominium. The whole under seat was just filled with mice nests, solid. That was enough for her. She didn't go in that car for 4 years until I got it reupholstered. 4 years, but she would not get in this car.
John, I like your running boards.
Oh yeah, the original running boards were steel, but they were rotten. There was holes rotted through them, and they were vulcanized. But I had this black walnut in the garage for over 30 years, and it was big enough, so I laid the steel running board on, outlined it, and cut them running boards out, and put marine spar varnish on it, and I put it on temporarily. And all my buddies, they all look at it and says, "Oh no, leave them on. Don't even take them off." They says it adds character to the car.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, they were a $15 option in 1940. I'm a dreamer, and a lot of the stuff has flown past me of what I wanted to do in life, and this is one of them that I did do, and I had a lot of fun with it.
Dan, in the classic car hobby, you hear the term land yacht every once in a while, of the guys driving a big boat. You're driving a big boat. That 59 Bonneville, when it pulled in, took up way too much space, Dan. I absolutely love it. When did you find it?
Oh, I found that in '95 in the Cleveland Plain Dealer, believe it or
kidding.
not. Yeah. Yep. It's been 16 years now I've had it, 16 summer.
Were you looking for a 59 Bonneville?
No, I was looking for a convertible, to be honest with you, but this hardtop, four-door hardtop came around. Couldn't pass it up, something completely unique.
And along with the hardtop, the wraparound glass on the front windshield is extreme, and the wraparound on the rear it might be the biggest wraparound I've ever seen on a car, Dan. I love that aspect of the car.
Well, it's what makes it different. It's you don't see it, you'll never see it again, that's for sure, on anything. I don't think anybody would ever attempt to build a car like that with that kind of window.
It's a 1959. How much of it is still 1959?
I would say 80%.
No kidding.
Yeah, most of the paint is original. It's an Ohio car, so the lower body had some work done to it over the years, but it's got its dents and scratches, but I kind of think it's its history.
How about the interior?
Interior is mostly original. We've done a few little things to, fix it up, but not too much.
I love looking at your car from behind, because there's so many things going on back there. I can't tell which one grabs my eye the most. I love the fins. I love all the chrome. It's a great look.
Well, even Cadillac had only 2 fins. This car has 4, so it's a little bit different. They say Pontiacs were a little bit. They're not quite Cadillac or Buick, but they had 4 fins. So
yeah, you've got bragging rights in the fin department.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
Definitely.
We've been doing this show quite a while. We've not seen another 59 Bonneville. Since you've owned this 16 years, how many have you seen?
Oh, I've known of 3 or 4 originally when I got the car. This is the only one around Northeast Ohio that I know. Well, I imagine there's some in the garages.
Stuck in a garage, yeah.
And I know maybe some people do have them, but I like to get this one out, and we drive it quite a bit on weekends. It runs well. The engine's never been open, as far as I know. 68,000 miles, so.
Well, it's not a convertible, but I like it even better.
It works.
From Chevy station wagon to rolling haunted house.
I've had more photographs taken of this car than you could imagine.
Oh my. Don't be scared. I'm not. Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte. We'll be right back.
RK Motors Charlotte wants your classic car. Let our consignment professionals take the aggravation out of the selling process for you. With an established international customer base, the RK Motors Charlotte consignment program has a 90% sell-through rate. Our top-notch marketing efforts have led to an average sale time of 87 days. We do the work, we do the marketing, we sell your classic for you at maximum value. Visit our website at rkmotorscharlotte.com.
Now back to Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte. Megan, nothing we like to find more than a young lady who owns a great hot rod. And that's you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. This is slick.
Thank
You have a real history with this car.
I do.
Explain to us.
I've known this car since I was probably about 10 or 11 years old. Very close friend of the family used to own it. He taught me a lot about this car, a lot about cars in general. Very smart man. And a lot of people know him. His name was Bill Moe. Hot rodder, submariner, great guy. I kind of inherited this car through a little bit of hardship that went with it, but it's been a part of my family now for about 1.5 years. I wouldn't have this car if it weren't for my parents, honestly. kind of ended up being a birthday present, so it worked out quite well. We've done a lot to it lately. Changed all the gaskets last summer. Plan on rebuilding the carbs this winter. New tires, new white walls. What else have we done? The entire upholstery's been redone, kind of going with the Blue Dream kind of theme that Bill and I discussed. I told him how I think that the white with the blue would look really nice. Jerry's House of Colors did the paint job before the Choppers show right after Bill had passed away in the color that Bill had chosen. It's called Surf Blue. There's just a lot of people that have played a big role with this car. So
I like the inscription in the interior.
actually, which is funny with that, the original dash in this car is not the prettiest thing in the world. It's primer orange. Bill had everybody sign it one year at a car show, and I was sick for that car show. When I saw him, he came up to me with a Sharpie and said, "You gotta sign the car." Underneath the interior of that car, that's what's written in silver Sharpie. So, thought it was only fitting to put it there and keep it there.
Now, what do you do with this car?
Drive it, show it, love it, work on it.
Work on it a lot.
Oh yeah,
And you know what you're doing.
most of the time. If I don't, there's a lot of
That
great
was a
little
statement
gearheads
on my
I know.
part. That wasn't a question on my part. I can
Oh
tell
yeah,
you know what
then,
you're doing.
yeah,
But you have some help with it.
definitely.
And what do you want to do with it in the future, Megan? Do you have any big plans for it, or are you going to keep it pretty much the way Bill had it in mind?
I think it's only fitting to keep it the way Bill had it, the way Bill thought it. A lot of things I hear from people, good conversation starters, how I have 2 carbs, the center carb is blocked. Everybody says, you need 3 carbs, you need 3 carbs. No, Bill never ran it with 3 carbs. He got this car to race it. He stripped the metal down, made it as light as it could get to race it. It runs with 2 carbs, and as far as I'm concerned, that's how it'll stay.
Dick, I love it when a guy tells me he's turned back the clock with his car. And that's exactly what you've done with your Crestliner. How long have you owned this one?
Well, I started on it 7 years ago trying to restore it, and it's been on the road about 2 years now.
But your history with the Crestliner,
My history with the Crestliner was my first car when I was 17 years old. I bought one from Broadview Motors down on Broadview and West 25th. And I believe at the time I paid $750 for it. And I took it with me to the service when I went in the Army. And unfortunately, I had a misfortune with the car down there.
misfortune.
Misfortune, yeah. I rolled it over.
Oh, and it was a 51.
It was a 51
Crestliner.
Crestliner, exactly the same color as
Colors,
this one.
everything.
And it was my dream always to make a clone of that car, and that's exactly what I did with this, with the exception of the motor. It does not have the flathead motor in it. It was Ford's answer to Chevy's hardtop. So.
Now to look at this car, I look at the vinyl roof and I would think, well, that's an add-on, that's not original. That didn't come on the car in 51. I'd be wrong, wouldn't I?
You would be absolutely wrong. Ford had them in 50 and 51. They had them in the Ford line, the Mercury line, and also the Lincoln line in 50 and 51. They had the vinyl tops on it. The trim is unique to the Crestliner only. Also, the script on the dash says Crestliner, and that's also unique to the Crestliner.
That's not the only script on the dash though, Dick. What color is this thing?
It's chartreuse, damn it, chartreuse. On it.
Really?
Yeah, really.
So the 17-year-old kid in you has to be absolutely tickled.
I am thrilled. My wife loves the car. We drive it all over. We have a lot of fun all over with the car.
Sure, you want your classic to look great. However,
sometimes there's plating processes, there's coatings that, are a fortune to do.
but there are alternatives. Under the Hood is next on Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte.
World-class collector vehicles. That's what RK Motors Charlotte is all about. The finest in classic, muscle, and high-performance automobiles. The design and excellence of the 1930s and 40s. The chrome of the 1950s. The muscle of the 1960s and 70s, and much more. RK Motors is the one-stop shop to sell your car, add a new prize to your collection, or restore an old friend to past glory. Learn more about RK Motors Charlotte at rkmotorscharlotte.com. Under the Hood is presented by RK Motors Charlotte, specializing in the sale, build, and restoration of world-class collector vehicles.
With Mike Velick, the restoration manager here at RK Motors Restoration. What do we have, art class here today?
Yeah, we're going to do a little art project for you here,
Nice.
Jeff, and show you some of the ways that make me look good. Sometimes there's plating processes, there's coatings that, you know, are a fortune to do. But, so how do you
Not spend a fortune and make it look good?
Make it look right.
Nice.
You nailed it perfect there. Here's one of the things that's a common, the plating. This cadmium plating and everything, that nice gold look everybody wants. Well, it's expensive to send it out, and one of the biggest parts in your engine compartment, that brake booster. They make a phony looking plating where if you learn the technique and you play with it a little bit, you can take with these 3-step can of paint and then a little bit of clear coat, and you spray the whole thing gold. You use this little touch of green and touch of red tint over the gold, clear coat it, and the shinier you get that clear coat to give it some depth, you can fool some people with some plating, especially from a distance. And even if you don't fool them for plating, it still looks fairly correct. Just to not go to that $100,000 restoration, but maybe you want that nice driver that you can take to a car cruise. There's your simple step. Then we've got some spatter paints. You know, all your GM muscle cars had this spatter paint to them.
In what part of the car?
In the trunk.
In the trunk.
This is for your trunk compartment. You've got your aqua and black, you've got the white and gray, and it's just a textured coating. Now this stuff is water soluble, so if you've got bad seals on your trunk and you take all that time to spray up your trunk real good and then you wash it and the water goes through your seals, it's all gonna lift right off.
Nice.
But they make a clear coat that'll protect that too, and it's specially made for trunks. Then we've got like your Lumablast here. Your Lumablast, under the hood, perfect example of how that would work. Your alternator, most cars that alternator's right there in your face, top of the motor. They're always oxidized, just look old and dingy right there. Gives it the appearance of a fresh cast aluminum piece. Another one here with your clear zinc. The nice thing is to have like one of those restoration books like we've seen in the past.
Exactly.
It'll tell you, hey, this part should be this should be that. But if not, change it up and do it yourself.
Get creative.
Get creative, make it look tasteful, and by using a bunch of different products, you can get there. One of my favorites is this detail gray. This recreates the look of natural steel, but gives it a protection so it's not natural steel, that the minute it gets a change in humidity and it gets a little bit of rust on it, this is gonna kind of help that from happening. Wonderful product. Your cast gray, same thing. You know, anything that was cast iron look, you know, we use this on steering boxes a lot. After they're all restored and redone, it makes it look brand new. We have a phosphate recreation of these two here. A dark phosphate and a medium phosphate. Now, GM hood hinges, or the hood springs and hinges, they're a phosphate coating from the factory. And I had this car at a car show. The judge has got his book and he comes up to my hood hinges there in the springs, and he's marking it off and he looks at them, and Jeff, he got that spring, it was in his face. He's right up there, he's looking, and he looks at me and he looks at that spring and he goes, that's not phosphate, that's a coating, isn't it? That's a paint. And I said, and here I'm thinking,
Yeah, you got me.
You got me. He says, I'm not marking you off points for that, because this was a high-end show. And he said, I'm not marking you off points for that because it looked that perfect.
Wow.
And that's a paint that my paint rep and I, he's mastered it. He's got it perfect.
And you created
for that.
it.
Yeah, he's created that, and it's all good to go. It's the best. It's the best we can use. So, and then your blacks. Here's your other. Black is not black. People will tell you, oh yeah, it's just black, paint it black. No.
Wrong.
Wrong. Mopars are real intricate about it, and some of the GMs are 30% black, 10% black, 60% black, and what that is the gloss factor. So here's we've got a flat black, and the flat black usually by flat means absolutely no sheen. There's no reflective ability to it, there's nothing. Then you get into like a trim black, which is not quite semi, but not quite flat. It's a perfect in between. And then you get into your semi-glosses, where a semi-gloss does have not much reflective ability, but you're starting to get deeper, you're starting to get a shine. And then your next one would be gloss, which I didn't do a representation of because I think we all know gloss black looks like. You can look like a king with simple spray paints. It's a lot of nice things you can reproduce with this right here.
Under the Hood is presented by RK Motors Charlotte, specializing in the sale, build, and restoration of world-class collector vehicles. Visit our website at rkmotorscharlotte.com. Automotive passion runs deep at RK Motors Restoration. Our master body, paint, and mechanical technicians have decades of award-winning experience restoring some of the world's finest collector cars. Flawless paint and bodywork, highly accurate interiors, engines that run better than new. Each restoration is completely documented and finished to award-winning Concours quality specifications. From project car to automotive perfection, visit rkmotorscharlotte.com to make it happen.
Now back to the car show at Christ the King Church on Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte. Dave?
Yes?
We're in a church parking lot and you're scaring young children. My little guy walked around the back of your car, turned, looked, and jumped. What inspired you to do this to what was probably a pretty decent Chevrolet Brookwood 1960 version?
Well, when I first saw the car, I was going down Route 82 to go visit a friend, and I saw the car for sale, and I did a U-turn right on Route 82. Pulled back into the guy's driveway.
It didn't look anything like this, did it?
No, it did not.
Okay.
And when I pulled in and looked at the car, I got out and walked up to it, and when I walked up to it and looked on the inside of it, I saw the shifter knob, the way the shifter is made in it, and that's what inspired me to start doing it when I got the car.
And how long ago was this? When did this all start?
About 10 years ago.
And you've been adding to it ever since?
Yes, I do. Every year around
Halloween?
Yeah, right like around September and then in October, I go on the hunt. I go hit every department store, every Halloween store that I could find.
And the reason why?
I just wanted to do something different.
Well, you've achieved that. You've achieved that very nicely. Where'd you get your buddy down there?
I got him at Halloween USA.
And all of his friends?
Pretty much the same store.
Oh, goodness. Dave, what kind of a reaction do you get from people?
I get a very cool reaction. I've had more photographs taken of this car than you could imagine.
Oh, my. Well, we're taking photographs of it right now.
I'm pretty satisfied with it now.
Well, you've hit the mark. If that's what you were looking for, you've hit the mark.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to have nightmares about Dave's station wagon for months. Very scary stuff. I'm Jeff Phelps. If I recover, I'll see you next time on Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte.